excited? I should have warmed this projector up. I'm sorry. Everybody's here, right? Tanner, Josh, Paige, Nick, Braylon, Jarek, Hannah, Dee, Hannah F, Brad, Riley, Dustin, Taylor, Nathan. Your pictures are all so cute. You are the nicest looking kids. Your parents must be very proud of you. Montana, Newton, Tommy Boy, Caitlin, Brandon, John, Rebecca, Alexis, Brendan, Ryan, Elaine, Jace, Katie, and Clayton. It's everybody, right? I hope so. Some of you may have seen this before. Oh, yeah. Trying to get my volume source started. This might be the best teacher.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which, anyone raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? The Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly the same amount of revenue as at this point. This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
So, with that in mind, what I want you to do is you grab, when you hand in your note card, you grab one of these handy dandy popsicle sticks and put your name on it. Because if old Ben Stein here in that movie clip from Ferris Bueller's Day Off had these, instead of saying anyone, and putting it on the board or answering his own questions, he could pull the popsicle sticks with somebody's name and he could simply say, okay, Tommy, what's the answer? What kind of economics? And now Tommy's on the clock and he's got to go voodoo economics. So this is a way for me to call on you, make sure I'm not picking on favorites, I'm not calling the same people, everybody's got equal access to it. So all you get to do is put your name on the popsicle stick. I've got the markers out up here because you're going to work on your shirts and you're going to call that good. All right, so you'll fill out your note card, you'll grab a popsicle stick. The other piece you're going to go ahead and grab is going to be this t-shirt template. What you're going to be doing today is built on your assembly you saw this morning where Mrs. Crowley introduced you to the concept of MyPA4, My Pink Arrow 4. And the history of this expression actually goes back quite a ways. And I'll share with you the very first, here it is. Everybody see, can you see over this? As you can see here, this expression, this form of expression actually began with an author named Ernest Hemingway. Some of you may have heard of Ernest Hemingway. He's a pretty famous American author. He traveled around the world and wrote about all kinds of crazy things like war and poverty and human rights and stuff. He's a pretty good writer. You might be required to read him someday, or some of you might just pick him up out of curiosity. But Hemingway was asked to tell a story in 6 words. Imagine that, being a writer, being an author, and only having 6 words to tell the story. Well, look at the story up here in 6 words that Hemingway is able to pen. 4 shoes, for sale, baby shoes, never worn. Think about that for a second. Think about the impact those 6 words carry. I mean, for sale, baby shoes, never worn. You know, whether your brain pictures that image, maybe the brain pictures the narrator of that moment, but it's a very dark and depressing and sad. It's an emotional image that jumps out of 6 words. Well, this movement, this art form, this form of expression has grown over the years to the point where entire books have been published based on this expression. Only 6 words tell the complete story. Certain YouTube gestures have gone viral with people filming themselves trying to capture a moment in 4 words or 6 words or 2 words. People just choose different size words and they go for it. These are all different excerpts from magazine articles, web pages, books, and folks just, you know, are able to think about the image, think about what they're trying to express, and they tell their story in 6 words. You can also see from this link here, drag it over, pops up a different window, some artists have gone ahead and tried to connect their visual art to the condensed form of storytelling of the 6 words. Where here's a guy with his coffee pot, I still make coffee for 2, which sounds kind of sad. So these are all sketch artists, painters. Here's a family photograph, and that's actually kind of funny. So you can see that the MyPA4 that Mrs. Crowley introduced to you today really connects you to a long line of expression. And it really is sort of a concrete yet abstract way of getting your mind around an event or a happening and trying in your own way, your own 4 words. Now she referenced MyGR6. And MyGR6, as she mentioned in the assembly, was the idea of a Lowell graduate. You attend a high school whose graduates go on and do really cool stuff. And this is one example. Miss Blau came up with this engaging way for community members to share in an online community in 6 words their thoughts about Grand Rapids, Michigan. And you can see that as of today, we've had over 5,000 entries. Now pay attention to the choices that people are making in regards to their 6 words. Some people are using all 6 words for a complete sentence. Grand Rapids, it is very cold. That's one idea. However, some people will take their different words and use 1 word for 1 idea. As you're decorating your shirt, you need to make that decision. Do you want your 4 words to be 4 independent words? Do you want all 4 words to be the same thing? Do you want to divide it up? Here you've got 1 idea, and here you've got the second idea. So maybe you dedicate 2 words apiece to 2 separate ideas, or 3 words to an idea, 1 to a final. It's up to you. And you can see that. Now, for those of you who might be new to Lowell, or you're just kind of curious to know what's going on, how to get involved, there is a web page for our Pink Arrow functions coming up over the weekend. It's just pinkarrowpride.org. And here they talk a little bit about the Quiver Run that's happening this Friday or this Saturday. Even if you're not a runner and you don't think you really feel like going 3.1 miles at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, you can still show up and run. You can get a group of buddies together and walk it together, jog it together, be a part of a team. It's a lot of fun. All the proceeds go to a good cause. You'll get a sweet shirt that you can wear around as, look at me, I ran a 5K and all kinds of